everyone, Tim Fasciola and Alex Chemrov here from Movements for Life. Today we're going to be taking you through the Turkish Get Up, step by step, so that you can go, if you've even never done this before, you'll be able to do this from here on out. Alright, so starting out, Alex is lying down supine. You'll notice he has his right knee in, his left leg is straight out. Now, you can't tell from this angle, but his legs are also out a little with a little width. So we'll give you a different angle of this later, but for now, he's going to reach his left hand out to the side and onto the ground. His left hand should be somewhat almost parallel to his left leg. His right hand's going to be reaching straight up to the ceiling. Now, this is the setup generally. Everyone's body is different, and you really are just looking for positions of strength for you. Okay, so starting from this position, we're going to be doing step one of the Turkish Get Up, and we're going to do so a few times. So what Alex is going to do, he's going to drive through, he's got his right knee bent, he's going to be driving through his right foot, his right butt, and almost pulling the ground toward him with his left hand, reaching his right hand straight up to the ceiling. So come on up and then pause up top. So once he's here, there's a couple landmarks we're looking at. I want to make sure there's a straight line from his left elbow up to his right shoulder. And there's also a straight line from his left elbow out to his right knee. So his right knee isn't folding in. I'll come out of the way so you can see that. It stays up and out. And the other thing that's naturally going to want to happen is the ribs are going to want to collapse down. So we want to make sure you're pushing through the arm to keep the ribs up and away, and then lowering down as slowly as possible. So notice as he's lowering down, he's controlling through the abdominal wall and his plant hip. We're going to do that 4 more times. So this is step one. He's lowering down slow. And what I want you to think about is you're almost trying to pull with the left obliques here, and you're trying to contract through there and return up tall. The more abdominal wall engagement you can get through this step one, extremely important. But don't forget that your right hip and your left shoulder girdle can help you quite a bit. So this is step one. Now that he's gotten used to that, we're going to add step two. Step two is going to involve coming up to the hand. So first he's going to come up to that first position and pause here. Now he's going to swivel this left hand out just a little bit and then corkscrew and push up to his hand. Now notice he still has this same line. He's not over-rotated here, nor is he turning all the way over this way, because that's going to pull him out of his position of strength. We still want this same straight line all the way through there. Then the big thing is coming back down. As he lowers back down, he's going to swivel his hand back. Swivel the hand back. There you go. And now he's back in this position one. Notice the ribs are still tall. And now he can lower back down slowly. And he's going to do this one 3 more times here. The goal is repetition. We're trying to groove a path of least resistance, and we want to do so in a way that the body's going to be able to remember this, and you're going to be able to remember this so that you can perform it on your own safely and in a controlled manner. Now notice that Alex is always looking up towards that right hand. Eventually this hand can have weight, or we're going to put with what we call the shoe test. So we want to make sure that that hand is always up against gravity. All right, so now that he's got 4 there, and sometimes you might slide away, just make sure you reset each time, keeping those angles aligned. So now we're going to do step 3. Step 1 and 2 are the same, making sure to pause at each one. We don't want to blend them together. Now from here, Alex is going to bridge through the hips. So he's going to push through the left hand. He's still driving this knee out. He's pushing through the side of his left foot, and his shoulder blades are stacked one on top of the other, and this hand is still against gravity. So make a fist for me. So if I am exerting down on, he still has plenty of strength to be able to hold this position up. Now, to lower back down, what I like to do is actually sit towards the right heel, or the bent leg heel. This allows motion for him to now rotate down at the elbow, swivel, and then lower down slowly. If he doesn't sit towards the heel and he sits more towards the middle or even towards his hand, he might get handcuffed at the shoulder. So we just want to avoid that. So we're going to do 2 more times here. Up, rotate up to the hand, and then bridge through the hips and stack. Yep, sit towards the heel, elbow down, and lower down slowly. Now come up again for me, and I'm going to show you a couple things that can sometimes go wrong within the hip bridge. So sometimes what happens is this hand can go almost back towards me here. We want to stay up against gravity. Other things that can happen are the hips actually rotate this way. You can see that the knee kind of falls down and in. We want that to stay open and this hip to be driving up. Alex is pushing through the side of his left foot and through the left hand. Now, if his elbow bends a little bit here, no bueno, because the whole system is going to try and fall down on itself. So you want to be corkscrewed through the elbow, pushing away the whole time. As you lower down, same idea, sitting towards the heel, giving room for the shoulder and the elbow to rotate down, and perfect there. So now you're halfway up. So now I'm going to reverse it. In my experience, I found it's easier to almost learn the down phase from the top down. So we're going to start, I'm going to have you come all the way up to your feet. Now the top down. So Alex is going to start with still the right hand up, and I'm going to have you just step forward a little bit. Yep, take a big step back with the left foot. Now Alex is in a lunge position. From here, his left leg is going to swivel about 90 degrees. His left hand is going to come out in line with his knee, relatively. So come out a little bit further. There we go. So now Alex has his foot coming back to his shin, his knee, and his hand aligned. So it almost makes a triangle. From here, Alex can then kick his leg out along the diagonal, and this should look familiar to you. Now he can sit down towards the heel, find his elbow, and lower down slowly. All right, come on up. We're going to start from the, so like just stand up. Yep, we're going to come down again from the top. This time I want you to face. Yep. So same thing, right hand, big step back with the left foot. The knee finds the ground. Notice that the left leg swivels. As his hand comes out to the side, a couple things we want to make sure of here. So we want to be reaching through the hips. I'm going to have you almost like, keep your hand down, but like just round the back here. So notice that the ribs are in a frowny face. This is sad. And then if he gets more arch and almost hip out, this creates a better extension through the ribs, which allows his torso to turn. Now, generally speaking, what's going to want to happen and go wrong here is this is going to almost want to come forward. We want to make sure we're still pushing through the ground, stacking the shoulder blades on top of one another as we sit the hips out and to the side. Now, coming down from here, once again, it's a big kick. Now, notice, we'll come back before you kick. Come on back. So Alex has a relatively small setup, so there's not a lot of space between his right foot, his left knee, and his left hand. For some of you, that might make things rather challenging. If you have long arms and legs, it might be hard to kind of kick through there. So what you can do, feel free to adjust, especially if you're unloaded and you're doing this just for movement purposes and kinesthetic awareness. Adjust the hand, slide the hand out a little further. You can step the foot forward a little further. This just gives you more of a lane for this left leg to kick through. Okay, so feel free to adjust as needed. Once again, we're looking for your position of strength. Don't worry about maybe other like technical videos of, this isn't about optimizing strength right now. This is just finding your strength, not necessarily what's going to work for everyone. Okay, so find what works best for you. Once you're here, you sit towards the heel, rotate the elbow down to the ground, and return. So I want you to notice, you can see here in this angle, it's a little easier to see the width of Alex's legs, and that can help create stability through that bridge. All right, so now I'm going to have you swivel back this way. We're going to come up now. We're going from the bottom all the way up, and then we're going to lower back down. So this is the full Turkish get up and get down. All right, here we go. We're going to start with the right side just like we did. Same starting position. Step 1, up to the elbow. Step 2, swivel and press up to the hand. Step 3, we bridge the hips up. Step 4, we're pulling the leg back, and notice he's finding that triangle between his foot, his knee, and his hand. Very good. He's rotating up to that half kneeling lunge. There we go. Returns and comes up standing nice and tall. Now make sure when you're standing tall, the shoulder should be in line with the ear. Very often what's going to want to happen is this gets caught here. The shoe test is going to prevent this because it's just going to fall right out. So keep that up. Now we're lowering back down. Now lowering back down might seem easier, but now you have gravity kind of accelerating your downward motion. Focus on slow control. Pause at each individual step so that you can ensure that you're rotating through the proper channels. You're not compensating. All right, we're going to do that one more time. You can do it with us together. So first, up to the elbow. Next, up, swivel and up to the hand. Third, bridge the hips. Fourth, pull the leg back, finding the triangle position. Next, rotate up to the kneeling lunge, and then stand all the way tall. Very good. We come back down the same way. Big step back with the left foot. Swivel the left knee. Find the triangle with the left hand, the left knee, and the right foot. Big kick out. Sit to the right heel. The elbow finds the ground, and you lower down as slowly as possible. So that is your Turkish Get Up. But now we're going to do the shoe test. The shoe test is going to ensure that Alex's hand remains up against gravity the entire way. You can do this with any shoe. The big thing is I don't want you using your thumb. You want it resting along the knuckles. You don't want to hold it in your palm. We want this to be a limiting reactor so that you can't fake it. You can't overextend yourself. So every time the shoe drops, you start over. Something went wrong. You weren't going against gravity anymore. So same steps. First, we're coming up to the elbow. Next, we're swiveling and coming up to the hand. Now we're bridging the hips nice and tall. We're stacking through the shoulders. Then we're pulling the left leg back, finding the triangle position. We're swiveling up into the half kneeling lunge, and then all the way up tall. Now once you're here, eyes come straight ahead, arm is right up in line with the ear. Now, once you hit here, checkpoint. If you haven't dropped the shoe yet, great job, keep it coming. Now we gotta bring it back down. All right, so big step back with the left foot now. Very good, swivel. Now notice once Alex's knee touches the ground and he rotates, his eyes return up to his shoe. And now we can go kick out, sit towards the heel, rotate the elbow down for the ground, and lower down slowly. Now, this week, and that's how you would do the shoe. Once we've done the shoe and you feel comfortable and you're able to keep that up against gravity the whole way, then we can begin to add some weight, either a dumbbell, a kettlebell. You can even begin to do asymmetrical loads, something a little bit longer like a barbell. Really, it's just a matter of the get up. The external load can be anything that challenges you. Just make sure you do so and you progress yourself slowly in a way that you can already find success. No big jumps at any one time. All right? So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any way you can get in touch with us. And we'd be happy to help you through your Turkish Get Up.
Thanks so much for watching. Thanks, dude.